Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another video. My name's Pete. Some call me Pilot Pete. I'm a Boeing 767 airline pilot, and today's trip is a first for me. First time airport. It'll be a first time transportation deadhead, how I get to the airport. So as always, if you want to come flying along, let's go do it. About a 2.5 hour bus ride to where we're starting out of, and then the trip is one leg, a deadhead, and then technically a second trip, but they're back to back with another deadhead and then one leg. So it's a bunch of deadheading, a bunch of flying, and some unique first time places. All right, we're right outside MSG, Madison Square Garden, and we're taking the bus to Allentown, PA. That's our next stop, Allentown, Pennsylvania. I've never flown out of there before, so this will be interesting. Why am I taking the bus? Well, there's no train, there's no plane. My company doesn't let you rent a car for expenses, and Uber's like 300 bucks. I gotta save my bank money because I'm using it for personal travel here in a couple of days. So that's why we're saving our money. So we're taking the giant green bus. Next stop is Allentown. All right, we made it to Allentown, PA. It's hopping here. Main Street is a hopping. 2 hour bus ride and a quick little Uber to the hotel. But the reason I'm not in bed right now, I'm walking, is because I looked at our pairing that we have for our flight tomorrow to Oakland, California, which is about 6 hours. It says no CAT, which stands for no catering. Allentown just doesn't have a caterer, which means we don't get food. The 6 hour flight at 7 a.m. is not anything really gonna be open. So I found a 7-Eleven kind of nearby. We'll get some cold cuts or yogurt or something. I'm gonna be a hungry boy. And then I just found out that there's a bagel spot that opens up at 6 and we get picked up at 6:20. So I'm probably gonna scoot over there, get a little breakfast. Should have prepared better for this. Didn't realize, kind of in the middle of nowhere compared to New York City. So we're struggling for food, but we'll survive somehow. And it's freaking freezing. All right, I'm moving rooms, but I want to know if you can hear them too. I'm gonna put my phone up to the wall. Now, I'm not gonna blame them. It's like almost just turned 9 p.m. I'm not saying they're being crazy loud, but the walls here are that thin. I can hear every single thing that the neighbors are doing. So I just called the front desk. I was like, look, I gotta wake up at 5:30 tomorrow morning to fly a freaking airplane. So I need a new room. They were very nice and understanding. That's exactly what they're gonna do. So it's another added element, changing rooms. But now we have our second problem of the night. No freaking air. And they only have a 2-pipe system. So you get heat or you get off. I am sweating. I just sleep with the AC on, so they're sending me a fan. Oh boy, folks. Allentown not off to the best start. Good morning, folks, from Allentown, PA. We're going to get that bagel sandwich we said we would. Hopefully we're on time. No alert calls or wake ups domestically, so 6 a.m. local. Got a ride in about 15 minutes. Not too cold, a lot warmer than I thought, but the day begins to be a long one. 6 hour flight, and I have about an hour and a half to head to San Francisco International Airport to then grab my flight back to New York. So hopefully everything's on time and this all works out. From the ramp in Allentown, we're flying the 100th Boeing 767 that my company got. And as you can probably see, we got snow, folks. The first snowfall of the year, for me at least. It's coming down, might be a little bit difficult to see, but what does that mean? It means we're gonna have to get de-iced, which stinks because it's gonna add at least 20, maybe 30 minutes to our departure time, which means that hour and a half I had to get from Oakland Airport to San Francisco Airport is not looking great for my flight. I didn't pack an extra pair of underwear. That's on me. We'll see. It is what it is. Obviously, flying and safety first. The inbound crew is late because all this weather storm that's kind of coming towards the northeast right now was over Memphis. So our sort got delayed early in the morning, which delayed everything. So we've been sitting here for over an hour now as I just start to get everything situated. But those are the de-ice trucks over there. Ground crew will de-ice us here at the gate. We'll get type 1 and type 4 fluids, and then we'll push back, and then we'll be on our way departing Allentown, PA. First time for me, and it's a 6-hour flight, but thankfully we got food. But yeah, today's gonna be a long day. I can just tell already. Folks, after an extremely long day, Allentown, 6-hour flight, Oakland, 30-minute ride to San Francisco, nick of my teeth. I barely made the flight, but we got on, and then transcon back San Francisco to Newark, just landed, and now in the 40-minute Uber ride back to the apartment. Don't recommend doing that often, but I've been in a flying tube longer than I've been on the ground today. So excited to get back to my apartment. Good morning. We're back in New York City. That was a long day yesterday. I'll start out with the flight. 6 hours en route from ABE, Allentown, PA, all the way to Oakland, California. This is live weather right now. Today's the day after the flight, but there's a snowstorm that actually canceled a bunch of schools and stuff in Allentown, and a bunch of snow on the runway. So as you saw, we got de-iced right at the gate, and then we taxied out to runway 6 for departure. So it was a pretty quick taxi and takeoff. But the one thing we had to do is for takeoff performance, we actually had the runway as wet, but as we got de-ice, more snow and more snow and more snow came down, we actually had to change the takeoff performance to say snow on the runway, because as you could imagine, our takeoff distance and everything is going to be different when there's actual snow on the runway, slowing the airplane from accelerating. Once we got above like 15,000 feet or so, the anti-ice came off, and it was a pretty smooth ride as far as weather goes across the United States of America. And then as per normal, windy winter over the Rocky Mountains, there's a lot of mountain waves, so we got a few of those. Basically started just getting bumpy, and our altitude fluctuated plus or minus about 150 feet. ATC was aware, we were aware. They're giving us reports pretty much the entire 6-hour flight that was anticipated. Captain's leg, he flew the Oaks 3 RNAV arrival down into Oakland, and the only thing they changed here was they told us to keep our speed up because we were number 1 in line to land in Oakland. So we flew as fast as we could, about 320 knots, till we got to Fist, which is below the Bravo. So they have you slow down to 200 knots, and then we were cleared for the visual ILS runway 30 approach. So it picks up right at that Fist, and we follow all these points in until we landed on runway 30 down here. Once we landed, that's when the real fun started. We were with the airplane inbound late to Allentown, the de-icing, having to change our performance to snow, massive headwind in the winter. We landed at 11:45 local time. We were supposed to land at like 10:30 local time, so about an hour and 15 delayed. My flight back to New York was scheduled at 1 p.m. So I was supposed to have plenty of time, which ended up not having any time Luckily, the transportation in Oakland, the guy drove like 500 miles an hour. We didn't even say anything about our flights. That's how he drove. And I wasn't gonna say anything because I really wanted to make this flight because I landed at like 10 p.m. local New York instead of what would have been like 1 a.m. So SFO, went right through security, had my uniform still on, and it was literally the last one aboard. I think I got on the plane at like 12:53. Departure was at 1 o'clock. So I was the last one on, had my exit row seat, and about 4.5-5 hours later, because we had a tailwind now pushing us back to New York, landed in Newark, grabbed an Uber, obviously exhausted, showered, and then went right to bed. As you can see, the trip started on Monday with a deadhead from my base in Memphis to Allentown, then to fly to Oakland with a deadhead today, Wednesday, out of SFO. It's actually a separate trip. It gets broken up. Basically, the deadhead goes SFO, Denver, Memphis. Got about 2 hours on the ground till another flight, which would be Memphis, Atlanta, Newark to deadhead to where I am now in Newark to operate Newark to Ontario tomorrow, Thursday, and then it finishes with a back-end deadhead. So broken down, it's a pretty good trip for me. It's 2 trips, but it's worth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of pay, and I'm only gonna be gone 2 nights technically. I went to Allentown on Monday, slept, was home last night, I'll be home tonight, and then we land in Ontario around like 6 p.m. local West Coast time, so there's no flights unless I want to take a red eye, which I do not. So I'm gonna spend the night in Ontario and I'll be back Friday. But it's only actually 2 legs of actual flying. It's the Allentown to Oakland yesterday, and then tomorrow will be the Newark to Ontario, another long flight, and then another long flight to get back here. But I'd much rather get paid to sit in the back and read, sleep, watch movies, so deadheads are definitely preferred, and we'll be headed there tomorrow. I'll text the captain, let him know I'm already here, and this way I'll meet him on the airplane tomorrow bright and early. So with our paid day off, we're gonna spend it here in New York. We're gonna work out in. Mom and Dad are actually coming into New York City today. My dad has a doctor's appointment, so I'll get to see them. I'll hang out with SJ. She's not feeling so well. It's the winter time, so she's suffering a little bit from a cold as she blows her nose. How you feeling, babe? No good. Yeah, she's no good. So we're hoping that I don't catch that. I think I was sick like a little bit of a week ago. I still feel a little bit congested, but overall feeling good. Let's go enjoy our day here in New York. Good morning. Yesterday was a full day, worked out and spent most of the day with my dad, met up with my mom. It wasn't for great circumstances, but always nice seeing them nonetheless. Today we woke up, slept in because we're kind of congested. Not enough to call out sick. I feel like I've been congested since I've been down in South America. I don't know if it's just worn out or what it is. Maybe this time of year. I'm flying to South America. It's 75 and sunny. And I land in New York. It's 30 degrees and freezing. So I don't know, maybe that's what it is. I'm hoping to get better because we got a big fun trip coming up at the end of this week, or I should say the beginning of next week at this point. But today we're back to the air. We deviated. That's why I got to spend the day at home yesterday getting paid. And then our report time at the airport is at 1:30 local to do another 6-hour transcon, another Newark to Cali, this time to Ontario, California, not to be confused with Ontario, Canada! Haven't met this captain before. It'll be a long flight, so I'm planning on getting a quick workout. Don't have time for a haircut, so that'll have to wait till we're back tomorrow. Oh, we got big news. A bid came out for my company. So if you don't know what a bid is, basically it's where pilots can change their rank and their airplane and their base. So rank means first officer or co-pilot. Base means we have bases in Indianapolis, Memphis, Anchorage, and Oakland, California. So you can switch bases and you can switch airplanes. So 767 to Airbus or MD-11 to 777, whatever it may be. So I'll go over that process throughout this vlog and kind of keep you up to date on what I'm bidding for and when it closes and when I can expect a result. But for now, gym, we're gonna be rushing as we always are, and then we'll get ready in the pilot uniform, have some lunch before we head out, and then Newark we go. We've been done long before it all begun. Still can't give it up. All right, an hour Uber ride. We finally made it to the ramp here in Newark. You can see all the de-ice, nasty salt stuff on the ground. It's windy. They're taking off runway 22, departing to the south-ish area. There's our 767 getting fueled. Sun's out. Let's pre-flight, get out of the cold, and on our way. All right, since I'm early, I'll show you guys the 767 cockpit. You've seen clips of it, but here it is. You got your 3 jump seats behind, and then the actual jump seat, if you're getting the line check, the person would sit here. Bunch of switches, garbage bags, fire extinguisher, and oxygen. Lavatory, which is pretty unique. Not many cockpits have bathrooms in them, but here they are. This question got asked on the video the other day. What's the difference between the right seat where the co-pilot or first officer sits and the left seat where the captain sits? Pretty much nothing. Everything that the captain has up here, the FO I have over here. Obviously, there's only one of these MCPs, so we can both reach it. Throttles, flaps are on this side, speed brakes are on this side, but again, captain just reaches over when he's pilot monitoring and does the flaps. I reach over when I'm flying and use the speed brake as necessary. Everything's in reaching distance. We got COM 1, COM 2. We both have an FMS, and there's a middle screen. We both have the same kind of PDs and NDs, so it's easy to see. We both have the same displays. And then the big difference, the two things that are really different is one, the HUD. The captain's side has this HUD that he's able to use for flying, heads up display they call it. And it allows him or her to not have to look down at the instruments. So those are the instruments right there that are also displayed there. So it's like a projector screen, which is right above my head here. That's the HUD. And the other big difference is the tiller. So it's how you steer the airplane, the Boeing 767 on the ground. You use the tiller. The foot pedals are brakes, and they actually do a little bit of left and right, but this is how you turn the nose wheel about 90 degrees and more. The FO does not have a tiller. If you're flying Airbus, an Airbus does have it. So when I was an Airbus FO and an Airbus captain, we both had the ability to use the tiller, but not on the Boeing 767. So that's the 767 flight deck tour. I'll go pre-flight. It is windy as heck. I didn't realize how windy it was. Bumpy takeoff today, that's for sure. But hopefully pretty smooth ride once we get going. And look, folks, you know it's gonna be a good flight. We're flying the best 767 in the fleet. Let's go! From the hotel in Ontario, California, not to be confused with Ontario, Canada. Made it, long flight. We almost had a very interesting departure out of Newark, and that's because when we were about to take off, I was getting the takeoff performance. I've shown you guys before. It's all those kind of data points that gives us our takeoff distance, our speeds, all that good stuff. Well, Newark departing, the wind at the time was 300 at 22, gusting to 33. So we had an issue because when I put in the performance to take off runway 22 right, because that was the departure they were doing, our performance wouldn't populate because it said, hey, warning, it exceeds the 30 knot crosswind component operational limitation that we have here at the company for the 767. So what that means is the wind was gusting too fast. The wind was too heavy for us to take off, too strong, I should say, to take off runway 22 right. So the alternative was to take off runway 29, but we were heavy. Runway 29 is only 6,700 feet compared to almost 11,000 feet for 22 right. So we had a little bit of a predicament. But since we're the wonderful pilots that we are, what we decided to do was the ATIS gives us every hour, it gives us a wind. This is 8 hours old, so it hasn't updated yet because I realized I'm still in airplane mode. So anyway, that was the wind, 300 at 21, gust 33. So I'm not fibbing to you guys. It was too strong for us to take off. So we didn't really have many options because we were heavy. We couldn't take off 2.9, but we realized, look, this ATIS comes out every hour. It doesn't give at the minute weather. It just gives like the actual weather at that time at 1851Z. So basically what I'm getting at is the weather is constantly changing. Clouds are moving, temperatures are increasing and decreasing, winds are increasing or decreasing, all that good stuff. So that is the information that goes automatically into our FMS to decide for our takeoff. It doesn't give you up to the second weather. So what I did and what we did as a crew was we punched in numbers for less than that because we knew, hey, there's a good chance that by the time we go to take off, the wind will have hopefully died down a little bit. And sure enough, we listened to ground control and they were clearing airplanes to take off, and the wind was like 300 at 14, gust 22. It just happened to be at that second the ATIS drew its information. That's what the weather spit out for that hour. So it's a long-winded way of saying, winded, no pun intended. It's a long-winded way of saying that we were able to take off 2-2 right, no problem. It was gusty, it was bumpy, like I had predicted, but we were within the limits because it wasn't a 30 knot crosswind anymore. It was more like a 25, 26 knot crosswind. So very much in limits and okay to depart. There's a long journey to Ontario, California, because we had about 165 knot headwind. The wind was going this way, so that's why when everyone asks, why is it quicker to fly from LA to New York rather than New York to LA, especially in the wintertime, it's just the winds. The winds are a lot stronger at wintertime pushing. So we had 160 knot winds hitting us in the nose of the airplane that made it super slow over the ground as we crossed over Lake Michigan. I showed you guys Milwaukee Airport there, and then a little bumpy over the Rocky Mountains as it is, again, because of that wind. It's pushing up, it's causing those mountain waves, and then we flew the approach into Ontario and landed safely, runway 26 right. And that's supposed to be the end of the trip. It's supposed to be a back-end deadhead tomorrow, but we got screwed. We got absolutely screwed. We were told to call crew services right when we landed. We did, and sure enough, they're saying, hey, Captain, hey, FO, it's now time to operate back to Memphis. So instead of a deadhead being a passenger princess, we're instructed to operate.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
It happens. Trip revisions right now, based on the MD-11 being down and it being peak season. It's kind of a more common thing than people would like. It's my first one in a while, actually. I haven't had a trip revision in a while. It stinks. It stinks because I'd much rather sit in the back, watch a movie and sleep and get paid than have to operate the airplane back to Memphis. And the thing that stinks even more is instead of getting home at like 3 p.m. tomorrow, I'll get home closer to like 8 p.m. So it's gonna be a longer day. I didn't pack extra stuff, so I'll be wearing the same socks tomorrow. But overall, it's not terrible. It would be a lot worse if I lived here in LA, because then I'd be like, what the heck, I'm home. Now I have to go all the way back to Memphis just to go back to LA later. But Memphis is on my way to New York. It's part of the airline world. Per our contract, they can revise your trips. There will be a little bit of disruption pay added in. It's not much, though. It's not worth the extra work is what I'm getting at. So like if I had an option, I'd much rather not have to do it. But again, it is what it is. I've probably been trip revised like this 3 or 4 times in my 5-year career. It's part of every airline. It's an always adapting schedule sometimes. So unfortunately, it is what it is. But I am exhausted after that long flight. And now that I'm not just be able to wake up and not even have to be half awake and just sit in the back and be a passenger to get home. Now I have to operate. I'm definitely gonna get to bed early and hopefully get like a nice 9 hours of sleep, because not feeling it, just tired, and there's really nothing to do here in Ontario because we now have a short layover. It was supposed to be, like I said, a deadhead, turned into a quick layover back to Memphis. So yeah, that was it. We'll be up tomorrow and I'll see you guys on the ramp tomorrow bright and early. Well, I wasn't awake before. I am now, folks. Good morning.
One thing about fire alarms, I just realized were pretty funny. I was getting ready in my room for like 40 minutes probably while that was going on. Meaning fire alarms in hotels are useless to me because I've experienced so many in my career and my many times in hotels. I don't even leave. So it's kind of useless. Heaven forbid there was a real fire, we'd be in trouble. But there were firefighters there.
What a morning, folks. What a morning. Oh man, if I was a guest here, I'd be freaking miserable.
But supposedly it was just like some water leak or something, but woohoo! I just thought that was funny because regardless if there is a fire alarm or not, I ain't getting out of the hotel either way. Good morning from the ramp in Ontario, California. Just pre-flight the 7-6. We're all set to head to Memphis. Sunrise is coming. They're departing to the east here in Ontario. It'll be my leg to fly. Total bummer though. Just watched the airplane I was supposed to be on headed to Denver. That was supposed to take me to Denver LaGuardia. Just take off on Ontario. So this stinks. I'm going to be getting home 5-6 hours later, wearing the same clothes I was wearing yesterday. Wasn't supposed to be happening, but here we are. Next stop is Memphis. Let's go fly.
Hello from Memphis. Not gonna lie, not in the best of mood. Like I said, not that bad, just making me a little upset. I think because I don't want to be here in Memphis. I want to be home, and the next flight home isn't for another 4 hours. So I got time to kill.
Pete, go get some food. Pete, go work out.
Yeah, I know. It's just the fact that I'm not supposed to be here, and the amount of money I'm making extra is like peanuts. I'm gonna spend it on food I have to go eat now. I can't eat in my own fridge, and just tired, just annoyed. But positive, right, folks? That's the mindset. Good flight overall. My leg departed Ontario. They changed the runway on us. We just depart 8 left. We ended up departing 26 right, so it's a longer taxi. The landing was a hard ILS in Memphis. There's these low clouds right now that are here. You can see the sun kind of pointing through, but low clouds nonetheless. Kind of plopped it on. Didn't really round out and flare as good as I should. Touchdown in the touchdown zone. That's a good thing. But we'll go with a 6.2 out of 10. And now I'm in the comfy clothes. Got time to kill, so we'll head to Whole Foods, get some grub. We'll see once we get some food in our system. Finally, time to go home. I had 2 options. I had a 3:45 to LaGuardia jump seating, or 4:15 half hour later and a purchase confirmed seat to build my status up. But I'm gonna save my travel bank. There's plenty of open seats on the 3:45, and I don't want status on this airline. So just gonna wait a little bit and take the earlier flight and get home a little bit earlier. Hopefully no delays. There's some winds and cold weather in New York, but hopefully we're on time and finally get home. I'm tired. I'm beat. We're home, folks, about 6.5 hours later than we should be. Honestly, just not a great ending. Not a great ending to what was supposed to be a good week of trips, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little just annoyed. You know, I was supposed to get home, have first class flying through Denver, land at LaGuardia before the sun went down. Now I'm not getting home till close to 10 p.m. Sometimes things don't work out that way. I feel like I've been working and overworked way too much, but we're glad to be home. Gonna take a couple days off, enjoy the weekend, maybe even go see some new Christmas decorations that are up. Not in our apartment yet, but the tree just got lit at Rockefeller Center. There's a market at Bryant Park, so we'll go do some fun stuff to kind of boost the mood and get in that true holiday spirit. But as always, I hope you enjoyed coming along for the week. A little bit of airline flying, a lot of transcons, and sometimes schedule change. That's how it is in the airline industry. But as always, hope you enjoyed. Love you all. I'll see you on the next one.